Jesus has to take center stage in our life. Jesus needs to reclaim his position in society, in human life. What we see is the contrary, that society is slowly pushing Jesus away because the image of Jesus is making society uncomfortable. And so he is being pushed away so that power, money, technology, and all these other things that we have could be the guide of human life. If you have a friend who is making you uncomfortable, you try by all means to avoid that friend of yours. You try by all means to push them away. As now the young people are saying, kumubika kuwaya. You put that friend of yours where to ignore them completely. The elders might not understand this language unless you are connected to the young life. You try by all means to push that friend of yours away because their presence is making you uncomfortable. Especially if that friend of yours is challenging you, is always telling you this cannot be done and it should not be done. You want to take this route and this friend is always telling you, but this route is dangerous. You cannot take that route, not at all. It should not be done. You will slowly begin to detach yourself away from that friend because they are making your life difficult. They are making you uncomfortable. And this is what society is doing. Jesus is being pushed away, or the image of Jesus is being pushed away because it is making us uncomfortable. We have our own plan. We have our own program. And according to our own plan, this is how the way things should be done. And when the image of Jesus is introduced in that plan, is kind of turning the tables around. It's kind of making us to begin to rethink our plan, to replan, and that we do not want. We want to follow our plan according to the way we have put it. And so what do? We put Jesus kuti pamwamba choir. We begin to put Jesus choir because his image is making us uncomfortable. You and I are Christians and we exist in this same world. We don't exist outside this world. We are in this same society where the image of Jesus is being pushed away. And today we are being reminded that we are the branches. And once we begin to cut ourselves away from Jesus, then we shall begin to lose life. And this is exactly what is happening. That society is cutting itself away from the main branch, Jesus Christ. Our duty as Christians is to begin to reintroduce the image of Jesus within the whole program of human history. To begin to bring back the image of Jesus that is being pushed away by power, by money, by technology. Somebody might stay away from religious activities and it might not even bother them. But staying away from social media, even for 1 hour, they're going to feel like there's something substantially missing in their life. How did you feel that day when you left your cell phone at home? You forgot it at home. You are almost going back home to pick it up because you felt something was substantially missing in your life. Do you feel the same way when you miss Mass? Do you feel the same way when you don't attend to a religious activity? Do you feel something is substantially missing in your life? How do you feel when you are broke? Like broke. Those of you who understand the word broke, how it feels to be broke, they know exactly what I'm talking about. When you're broke, you have nothing. Not even coins can sing in your pocket. There is nothing, totally nothing. How do you feel? Something is substantially missing in your life. When we stay away from religious activities, from the church, from Mass, do we still feel the same way? Our duty as Christians is to begin to bring ourselves back to the mainstream, to Jesus Christ, so that, yes, we may have power, we may have money, we may have all these other things that we desire to have in our life. But once Jesus reclaims his center stage, it is only he that begins to guide us, to guide even the way we should administer the temporal goods, the goods of the earth. But when we begin to push Jesus away, then all these things begin to rule our life. Our end may not be so pleasant. As we are taught that the branches that are cut off from Jesus or from the main stem begin to dry, and they are put together and burned in fire. As a Christian, when you see that something is going wrong somewhere and you have a voice to speak, you have to speak. As a Christian, when you see that something should be done about a particular situation and you have the power, you are in a position to do something about that, you should do that. Because that duty which you have is a divine duty. It is a mission that Jesus Christ himself has shared with you. When you decide to play the indifferent, when you decide to look away when evil is going on, you become an accomplice. Jesus Christ has given us the power to do something in order to correct whatever has to be corrected in society. But what do we do as Christians? We play the indifferent. As long as it does not affect us directly, we walk away, we look away. It is not my business. It is their business. It does not affect me. It does not affect my family. My family and I, everything is good. It is their business. And so you walk away playing the smart, playing the indifferent. You and I, if we do not speak, if we do not do something about the evil that we are seeing, when we are able to do that, we become accomplices. We become just like those perpetrators of evil. People today are ready to kill for money. People today are ready to kill to assume political power. People today are ready to do all sorts of harm for them to have what they want to have. What are we doing about that as Christians? What is our role in this whole confusion that society finds itself in? Society is slowly moving away from Jesus. Your duty and my duty is to bring back Jesus in that same society. If you have a friend that is making you feel uncomfortable because they're telling you the truth, that friend of yours, that person is a treasure that you want to have for the rest of your life. If you have somebody in your life that is telling you this is wrong, that person is a treasure that you should keep for the rest of your life. But if you have like a friend of yours that is always saying, today we are going to do this, and they can't even give you a contrary position, that person is digging your grave, is helping you to dig your own grave, because they are not helping you to grow morally and spiritually. Our duty as Christians is to be different from the rest. St. Paul, in the first reading, decides to be different from the rest. And they even begin to plan to kill him because he has decided to follow Jesus, to be different from the others. It doesn't matter, even if you are alone, the different one, as long as you stand in the right position, as long as you stand for justice, for the truth, as long as you stand for the light that should dispel darkness from human life, you stand with Jesus. You are not alone at all. And this is what St. Paul does. Before he was Saul, now he's Paul. And he's recounting how he met Jesus that changed his life. And because of that, the Hellenists, the Greeks, and those others who belonged to his camp begin to plan to kill him because he has decided to be different. You and I are called to be different, to decide to be different, to decide to be different from the rest. When the whole world is following this route, we should say that route is wrong. That thing is bad. I'm going to follow the other route. We might lose a lot of friends because of that. It doesn't matter. As long as we stand for what is right, as long as we are following the right route. Jesus wants to reclaim his position in our life. And for him to reclaim this position, it doesn't mean that we have to get rid of money, we have to get rid of power, we have to get rid of technology. Not at all. These things come from God himself. It is God that gives us the riches. It is God himself that gives us the wisdom to develop technology. It is God that gives us everything that we have. But he does not give us these things so that they become a replacement of Jesus. Not at all. He gives us these things for us to have a comfortable life as we are still here on earth. But Jesus should guide the way we administer them. Jesus should guide the way we administer the money. the way we administer our life, our families, our friendships, and everything else. We do not have these things as a replacement, as a substitute, because Jesus cannot be substituted by anything at all. There is nothing that has all it takes to take the place of Jesus in our life. Not at all. Once we begin to substitute or we begin to replace Jesus with something else, we are slowly cutting ourselves from the vine, from Jesus himself. And we shall slowly begin to dry, and our end is going to be disastrous, because we are going to be put together and burnt in fire, just as we do when branches dry and want to burn them. So, dear brothers and sisters, today let us remember that indeed we are the branches and Jesus is the vine. He is the main stem. When we see that something is slowly cutting itself from the main stem, it could be society, it could be family, it could be friendship, anything, our duty is to stand up and say, this is wrong and it has to be corrected. And immediately we begin to do something. If we are in a position to do something about a particular situation and yet remain silent, remain quiet, we fold our arms, God is going to hold us accountable for that. Because he put us in that situation in order for us to do something, yet we never did anything. He's going to hold us accountable, because we are not any different from the people, the actual people that are perpetrating that particular evil. We are the salt of the earth as Christians. And our duty is to bring back Jesus and put him where he should be. So that he helps us to administer even the temporal goods of this earth that God himself gives us. Amen.